Right, of course, a centre forward wants to score goals. You know that better than I do. But I think he is having an impact in games. And where I said it didn't really work out against West Ham, it didn't work out in terms of hitting the back of the net himself. But the spaces he created, the room he created for other people, it was really, really important. And I just think in the modern game where you come up against low blocks so often, right, as a centre forward, there will be times when you're isolated and you've got to be patient. And I don't like the idea of people getting onto his back this early. I think it's crazy. The numbers, yes, okay, you can package them up whatever way you want, but I think numbers-only analysis is lazy. And so I'm doing that back.
I'll tell you one thing he'd be annoyed about, Harry. I'll tell you one thing he'd be annoyed about is that Saka took the penalty and he didn't.
100%, but he's a striker.
But there you go, most selfish person on the pitch, aren't we? That's why centre-forwards, that's why they get paid the big money, because they're the most selfish people on the pitch.
In general, do players choose who take the penalties, or does the manager tell you, in general?
The manager says, but ultimately it comes down to players' decision and the player kind of takes it. And to be fair, Saka's taken the penalties now for what, 3-4 years? And his penalty record speaks for itself.
Good, so yeah.
There's always been a split. Sometimes Saka takes him, sometimes Odegaard takes him. Saka was celebrating a milestone game. He wanted to get that 100th goal contribution in the Premier League. I can understand it. But you're right, Gyökeres wouldn't have liked it.
Top of the league, are they the best team that you've seen so far this season in the Premier League?
I have to say yes, the way they're all kind of coming together. They've had a couple of setbacks with people being injured. Saka was out for a couple of games. Martin Odegaard hasn't kind of been fortunate in that way. He's been out and then he's missed more than he's played, unfortunately. But as a collective and a squad, they look really solid.
You've talked about this already this season, about Arsenal last season dropping points against clubs you would expect them to win. So have a look at this, because this season they are 5 points better off than they were in those same fixtures last season. Here it is. So is that the key if they're going to win the league? You can see that last season they dropped points. Fair enough, Manchester United and Liverpool, 2 draws away from home are good ones. Forest, Manchester City winning at home, but then losing away at Newcastle. Losing at home to West Ham's a big one. And they're 5 points better off this time out.
But I think as you look at them fixtures there, Tom, anyone part of Arsenal, you'd say go to Man United and you'd want to win the game. You'd expect to win. Liverpool try not to get beat, and look, they was undone by an unbelievable goal. Beat Nottingham Forest at home. Play Man City at home. Don't get beat. They drew the game. Go to Newcastle, win. Same with West Ham. So in that tally, what you see there, the start is obviously it's probably been expected from the fans and everybody involved in Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, I know we're only 7 games in, but is it better to be leading or chasing at this stage?
I think leading. That's an easy question. I think it's leading. You don't want to be chasing with, we'll turn good, we'll come good, it will click in time. You want to get off to a great start. And look, they've put the right foot forward and they're leading at the second international break stage, and it's a fantastic start for them.
They're leading, and in the past, it has been noted that Arsenal's squad may well be the strongest in the league, and they're leading already.
I think now you can look at it and you are really going, look, they have got such a strong squad. When people have got injured, they've had easy replacements ready to go. And now building on, going into the games after the international break, look, they're leading, they're top of the league. They've signed someone that effectively should score 15 to 20 goals for them this season. Then they've got wide players, and then they've got arguably one of the most exciting players that was playing outside of the top 6 in Eze that they brought in the summer.
Look at the sort of 3 clubs in the main who are considered to be in a title race. They've all had this period of being questioned inside 7 games, Jamie, haven't they? City with those 2 defeats, Arsenal for not being adventurous enough when they went to Anfield, and Liverpool are in that period at the moment.
Yep, absolutely, and I think it might be that kind of season. I genuinely believe that. If you were to ask me whose shoes you'd like to be in right now, you'd have to say Arsenal. And that was before a game where people were questioning if they lose at Newcastle, are they out of the title race? And that's how quickly things can change. You know, Liverpool were unbelievable last year. I use the analogy that they climbed a mountain. They had so much togetherness. They were a desire to go and win the title as a team, and everything was spot on. You know, they had players that were playing at the peak of their form. You know, Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah, and everything was absolutely right. And they blew teams away in the first half of the season. This year it's not going to be the case. And I just look at Arsenal and I see that they almost have what Liverpool had last year. And Liverpool have to somehow turn it around and get that sort of togetherness back and that belief, because it's sometimes, I wasn't lucky enough to win a title, but when you can see when a team are going to win it, and United were relentless at it, you can see that they knew what they had to do, and that's what Liverpool have to find again. And it's a little wobble. I said use an analogy yesterday, it's a mini crisis, but they will get through it because the players they've got are too good for it not to happen, but they need players to get back in form. Manchester City have got the know-how, as Michael well knows. You mentioned it earlier on how many titles they've won. This is Arsenal's first time, and I think right now, for me, they are the favourites. The squad that they've built and the players that they've brought in gives them a real advantage.
If he's fit, you play him. If there's a cup final tomorrow, he plays.
Yeah.
100%. They've got a lot of options now. They've probably got the strongest balanced squad in the Premier League in my eyes. They've recruited fantastically well, and they've got now. If they get an injury to Gabriel or Saliba, they can bring someone in. There's always some. Mascara's done brilliant. Calafiori's done brilliant since he's been at the club. They've recruited fantastic, and their academy is the best in the Premier League because they're producing superstars.
Arsenal are not shy about their ambition this season. Mikel Arteta has repeatedly expressed his belief that the ingredients are their quality signings, depth, experience, and a hunger that's been building up. He said Arsenal can win it if they keep digging, likening the process to mining for gold. He also once stated that while many teams have the right ingredients, Arsenal have to focus on what they can control: consistency, attitude, and handling pressure. The club's posture feels confident but balanced. They're not making bold promises that they'll steamroller the league, but they're not holding back either. They accept the challenge. I've seen pundits note that in big games, Arsenal have already shown a level of maturity and mental strength. For example, their late win at Newcastle was praised as an example of showing the ambition of title winners. But there are also voices warning that they're still a way off. They need to maintain form, manage injuries, and not slip up in the high-stakes moments. My take? Arsenal are in a sweet spot. They've pushed themselves close in recent seasons without quite breaking through. Now, with a stronger squad and deeper options, they have both the belief and the backing to aim for the top. But football isn't linear. Injuries, pressure, small mistakes, they all matter. If Arsenal keep that belief alive, keep performing in the big matches, and balance their resolve with composure, I think this could be their year. If not, it'll be another near miss.